Hey guys, so today is the 18th and I welcome you all to the Meshery development meeting. I'm going to be sharing my screen with you guys in just a minute. Oh, this is like misbehaving. Just a second. All right. Okay. Cool. Wow, it's acting quite weird. Oh, finally. Okay, so let's see if that comes well. Wow, my keyboard is freaking toasted. Okay, so a window. Oh man. Okay, guys, I'm really sorry. You know what? Can one of you guys share your screen and bring the community meeting notes? And I can start. I mean, so the recording is already on, but unfortunately, I'm not able to share my screen. Can you guys? Can one of you guys bring up your screen and we can get started? I'm really sorry. Otherwise, I'll have to switch browser
I'm
and.
sharing my screen.
Awesome. Thank you, Anand. Yeah. Otherwise, that's going to take another 3 minutes or 4 minutes. So great, awesome, really excited to have you guys here. So the first thing first, so are your exams over? I have made a note here that your exams, were getting over on the 16th of December. Are all your exams over? Are you done with your exams?
Yeah. Yes, sir. My exams over.
Awesome, guys. So
Yes, sir.
fantastic. Oh, fantastic, guys. Is anybody else's exam still going on? All right, I'll take that as a no.
I think all of us with the semester of UM.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, marvelous, guys. That's fantastic. Okay, cool. So, I've just made a note that all the exams are done on the 16th. That's fantastic, remarkable. Now let's get down to business. Do you guys want to talk about something before we get started? Going around the table. If you guys have anything to talk about, bring it up now, and it'll be a nice time to actually talk about things before we jump into, looking at things you guys are working on. All right. Let's get started. Anand, I'm sorry. Before that, Ashiks, hey, I just noticed that you joined the call. Hey, thanks a lot for joining the call. We will get with you, as we walk through all the participants. But before that, so if you guys want to, go and enter what you guys are working on and what you guys plan to work on in this document, that will be helpful. So that before your turn, we'll have the information so we can just kind of walk through you as quickly as possible. Anand, do you want to get started? Do you want to start?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Cool.
So I'm working on the issue alpha layer 5 slash Meshery and Meshery for Meshery IO. So in Meshery IO, I guess there was no head.html or uh, uh, the head portion that we need for HTML. So I was thinking of creating that. As I have not gone through all the files, so I will check first. Then, if I don't find, then I'll create one and add the metadata and the analytics portion of for Meshery IO and for layer 5 IO. There is an image. Let me share. Oh, okay, sorry. Just a second.
Sure, take your time.
Yeah, so screen. If yes, this is the logo that layer 5. If I share the link of layer5.io, then this image is on the Twitter page. So I need to change that. I just tried to change it from nothing to this, and I will try to change that like the only 5, like the main icon of the layer 5. And there is the other issue that I'm working on is auto upgradation of Meshery CTL when we do Meshery CTL update. So that's one of the things that I'm working on. I have not started it completely, but yeah, I've worked on a bit of it.
Fantastic. That's great, Anand. It's very very exciting to hear that. All right. Would you mind
Yeah,
entering the issues you're working on in the development
yeah,
meeting docs?
yeah. I will. Sure.
Awesome. That'll be great. That'll be great. All right. That's fantastic. Let's move on to, is Nikhil on the call? Okay.
No, actually, he is on a train from town.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right. All right. Okay. So let's make notes of that. Like, I mean, I'll just make a note here. It'll be great to just let keep that recorded in our file. So let's move on to the next guy. Shubham, you spoke up. Like, let's talk about you.
Yeah, sure. Let me present my screen.
Yeah, awesome. Go grab the ball.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, fine. Actually, I was working on the issue number 26, uh, this one,
Yep.
and I have to add links to the images like here in this Messery.io, these images or the screenshots are not clear. So add hyperlinks to these images. During the exams, I forgot to do this issue. So now only I have submitted a PR regarding this issue, and I think it is working now. This is my locally, and I think this is clickable now.
Oh, that's
So
fantastic. But hold on. Okay, can you show it to me again?
yeah,
Excellent. You know what? Like, this is great that you actually brought this up. Now, there is another issue which I want to point out, which I don't know, maybe you might know. Just give me 1 second. Let me actually try to find that one. Have you heard of Lightbox? Shubham, have you heard of Lightbox?
no, sir.
Okay, gotcha.
This one.
Can you open your issue again? Shubham, can you open your issue again? Excellent. Thank you. And now, can you go to the address bar and change the number 26 to 25? Yes.
This one?
Yes, this exact one. Yes. Now can you actually open layer5.io in a separate tab? No. I mean the site. I'm sorry. I meant the site. Yeah. Yes. Okay. And then now, can you click on any of the images? Now, the point I'm trying to make is that now in layer file IO, we have created this thing, like, where the images will actually pop up in this nice small window. Can you click on any image? I'm trying to let me see if I can point you to one. Just a second. I'm really sorry. Okay. Oh boy. Yeah, if you go to, yes, that's actually a good thing. Yes, Meshery. Meshery is a good example. Yes. Yeah, you see this, right? Like, so when you clicked on the image, it actually took you to, it didn't take you to a new page, but rather it actually opened the image in, like, in a modal on the same page, right? So this is actually implemented using Lightbox. So now that you have already completed the part of getting the images as links, can you work on this issue so that you can, instead of opening it in a separate window, you can actually open it up in a pop-up like this?
Yeah, sure. So I have to change change my PR. You want me to work on the issue number 25?
Yeah. No. We'll take your PR. All I'm saying is, like, I mean, it'll be a nice thing for you to work on this next.
Yeah, sure. So I think I should decide myself.
Yes, yeah, that'll be wonderful if you can. Yeah, that'll be awesome. Awesome, Shubham. Marvelous, marvelous. All right, cool. I see there is a issue 511. Is that closed in Meshery?
In mesh.
Oh,
Right.
oh, it's closed. It's merged. Excellent. PR number 511 is merged. Okay, so I'm just gonna hyperlink that. Fantastic. Cool, Shubham. I just checked, like, 511 is already merged. Yeah, so that's in Meshery. I thought I just checked that. Yeah, PR 511. I'm sorry, did I say issue? I'm sorry. It's PR 511, I think. Just a second, let me confirm. Yes, it's a PR 511. That's merged. But it's like, it looks like you and Jared worked on this together, probably.
Actually, let me open the.
Let me give you the link. Let's see, like, if that helps you.
Okay, wait. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Excuse me.
So, I'm audible?
Yeah, yes, you are. I'm sorry. Did you want to talk about 511, Shubham? Or if not, it's all right. Like, we can actually, come back to it
Yeah.
later.
Talk now, but I don't have problem.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay, no problem, Shubham. Hey, thanks a lot. Let's move on to Gunjan. Hey, Gunjan, what are you working on, Gunjan?
Yes, sir. So I was working on issue number 245, that was add layer 5 logo to list of Istio partner on istio.io. Sir, may I share my screen?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, that'll be wonderful.
So, sir, here is the issue. So, add layer 5 logo to list of Istio partner on istio.io. Issue number 245. So, I had already added the logo on their index.jpg. After here, I got some list from Googlebot, and here you can see that there are some thing required, that is CLA are signed but unable to verify author constant. And there was another thing that link istio.io job field. So how to solve these two problems?
Okay, so the CLA, you know how to fix the CLA because you've been doing it for all our repos. Like that's going to require, yeah, you'll have to go through a tiny process which will kind of do it for you. You know what? I'll reach out to you right after this call and let's get this resolved.
And sir, at that time I made something wrong, that was I didn't make that change alphabetically. So I'm creating a new branch and I'll uh, push that point again.
Hold on. I mean, like no. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. I'll say, you know what, like let's meet after, or you know what, like towards the end of this call, let's discuss on this.
Okay, okay, sir. Sir, I have two more issues.
Yeah, cool. Go ahead.
Sir, sir, in this, sir, here in this section, sir, I made those changes for issue. The installation part, I made those changes, but I'm not getting the exact changes. Like I want to make this.
I'm sorry, did we lose you, Ganchan? Ganchan, can you hear me? Okay.
Sir, yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, now you are.
So, so in this page, I made those changes, and here is to click here. So if I click here, it will show this pop up, and if I click this here, it shows the same thing. So, but I don't need this click here same. So how to change? How to make that change? So here is my code.
So you want to remove one? Is that what you said?
No, sir. I need both of them. So
You need both of them. Okay.
So sir, here is here. I need one more before this to install on Kubernetes. Click here. So I made that change here. So to install on Mac or Linux using Docker, click here. So I made this click here working properly.
Okay.
But when it is showing the same thing.
Oh, you wanted to show the different one. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah, but Lisa told me to make another ID, but I typed that one, but I'm not getting the exact result, so that's why.
Gotcha. Ganchan, you know what? Like after this call, like when we are talking about the other issue, can you bring this up as well?
Listen, sir, one more thing. Sir, I'm working on the all contributor bot, so still I have some doubts. So
What are your doubts?
Sir, should I add all those people who contribute something that in this repo STO, BC STO, or I should add few of them?
Right. Can you see Lee's message?
Uh, uh, yes, sir, but yeah.
Yeah, I wonder. So the thing that we were trying to do here was evaluate this particular plugin or this GitHub app. And so this is good. I think it's probably a moment of reflection to say, so understanding behave. Correct me if how it behaves, and that is that manually you as a maintainer or someone else will tag a user, and that app, that bot, will see the tag of the username and the command to add them. It will then create auto-generated PR. Somebody will manually review it and fill in some of their details, and kind of how they're contributing, what icons, what badges to give to the person, and then we'll add it. And I expect it probably never auto removes them. I think so. So for my part, it's okay. It's not something that I would stop anyone from doing. It's not that pretty. So a bit manual is anticipating, and it is something we'd have to conceptually. We could either have to replicate it across all repos, or we would just make one common repo called community, and within there we would have the contribution information and an explanation of the project and a description of what it means to be a contributor, a maintainer, an ambassador, a community manager, all those roles. And we would have this all contributors thing there as well. I think that we chose the Meshery Istio adapter repo as an example, as a playground for trialing the all contributors app. And in that time, we got out the new Meshery site with the /community page. And so I figured I'd ask you guys. To me, at their page, to me, that's a bit more pretty. And given that we have to manually curate the all contributors stuff anyway, sorry, I have to resize my page. I appreciate this format more, in part because right now it doesn't necessarily look better because I got these should all be smaller and in a row. I think you guys had seen it in the past, but it's a bit more dynamic. Now, as of a couple of days ago, if you click on someone's picture, you'll be taken to a page, and that page, in time, I'd like to be able to add a bit more info about folks. So one, but he also has, and I think Ashish, I think you recently have a new Twitter handle as well. So really it should list out both. And the reality is, like, eventually we'd want to make this a little bit of a profile page for you guys, to the extent that you'd have your social icon, your social profiles listed. And potentially we would have a link over to any blogs that you've written for the project, so that the people could see, okay, the blogs you've written for Meshery, maybe the areas of work, like you'd be able to put some badges here, like, hey, yeah, I feel comfortable with Linkerd, so I'm going to choose to put the Linkerd badge on my profile because I feel somewhat knowledgeable there, and I want to help people. And so I think, anyway, long story short, my vote is to not pursue the all contributors app, but rather pursue enhanced. What do you guys think?
I'm okay with that.
It doesn't mean that we couldn't do both of them if you guys felt strongly about the all contributors. So,
Makes sense.
Sheesh and folks, what are you guys thinking? Raghav, Shubham. Yeah,
We can start with our contributor page, and then we can move to all contributors also. So yeah, for me both works fine.
And okay, makes sense. And since Shubham makes sense, you were saying, hey, let's try to complete one first, and if we go to a second one, you're okay with that. The one that you were saying to start with first was the / community one on Meshery.io, or no?
Yes.
Okay. Looks like Anand is saying, hey, let's go with the Meshery.io / contributors. And Ashish, I think, enjoys the Meshery.io one. Gunjan, maybe you're on the fence, and that's okay. Raghav, any opinion?
Not per se any opinion. I guess both works fine for me as well.
Okay, got it. So yeah, no, yeah, and I think that's a fair, or I think that makes a lot of sense. Like, hey, it's not that either one of them are bad. If you really got particular and you said, well, we have to just choose one, then you can weigh the merits. But yeah, so my concern, there's a couple of concerns with originally putting such a thing up. We had said for a while, hey, we want to make sure that people are getting recognized. Build files. One of your online profiles is clearly GitHub and your GitHub profile. And so the contributions that you make, they just show up there, and that's great. You're all members of the Layer 5 organization. If you choose, you can show the Layer 5 organization on your GitHub profile. And if you haven't, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, ping me and I'll show you. But so the concern that I had about either one of them is once they're started, if they ever change or get removed, that doesn't feel good. So if Raghav's profile is up there today, and a couple months from now we're like, oh, okay, there's 200 contributors. This is just too much. This doesn't really make sense. How do we? Or hey, there's this one person that contributed one time. Should we put them up? Or they thought back. That's great, and we thank them, but they don't come back. And so, should they have equal billing, so to speak, as Raghav, who's showing up to the meetings and working on getting things done? And it gets really sensitive because people's feelings get hurt. And so this is these sensitivities is why I was a little bit torn between, well, we want to recognize people, but we want to give some forethought so we're not doing it in the wrong way, or so that we don't change our mind later and then people get upset. And so there's been an action item for me to write down this contribution ladder to say, what are these roles? If you look at the page now, either of them, I think the all contributors and the / community one, either of them give someone a title. They give them It's here for sure, and continues to be, and he's generally focused on documentation. Over time, he's going to move into, I think, into React and into Meshery itself, and so over time, this may need to be updated. Anyway, so he's a contributor. There's a maintainer. There's, I think Jesus is one of the few that carries, and I think we need to change this. He carries something of a community ambassador title. That's great. It probably needs to be more community manager, because he's managing a community of 10 or more people in Mexico. Point is, all that needs to be figured out. It's sensitive. I want to make sure that it's meaningful and that it's well done. And so part of my issue with the all contributors plugin is that there's some challenges where we would need to set in, I don't know, one of the things that we get to address is that some of you guys are contributing on the layer 5 landscape, and some of you are contributing just to Meshery, some of you are contributing through both. So if we put your profile up just on meshery.io, does that not recognize things that you've done for the landscape or things that you've done for the service mesh performance benchmark? So Raghav just landed a PR or two there. I think so did Kanji. So these questions plague me, is all I'm saying. So if you guys want to continue and continue to play with the all contributors, I'll do my part and write down the roles, and we can come back and reflect on which one of the two things is better. If you guys stay here long enough, and most of you already have, but that not only is it your GitHub profile that you're benefiting from, but ultimately, like your LinkedIn profile, you've updated it to identify yourself as a contributor, and that you also call upon myself or Garish or each other to give each other's to give you letters of recommendation or a letter of verification of contribution or something like that, so that you can that all adds up to your profile, to what it means to be a contributor, to be a maintainer. We talked about a lot of that in the past. So anyway, I'll stop talking. Let us get back to the question at hand, which I think Gunjan was: should you continue to PR all those things? You can't actually communicate to those individuals. This is just that we're just trialing this to see how well it works for us.
Try my best for making this more suitable for us, to make it more automated.
Yeah, it could be that we're not fully grasping all of its capabilities. If it's a bit more automated, anytime someone lands a PR, that it would also add them as a contributor, that would be nice. So it auto curates the list.
Yes.
And the other thing is, part of the issue with something like all contributors is that the Ant Weiss, whom I think you guys might be familiar with, Ant has shown up to a few of the meetings, and he had a number of helpful issues inside of the projects to make sure that we're addressing certain things. He has spoken at a conference or two about Layer 5. So, but if he hasn't merged a PR, if one of his PRs haven't been merged, does that mean that he's not a contributor? Because the all contributors bot wouldn't be picking it up. I don't think so. I think that him speaking at a conference or writing a blog post is very much so helpful to the projects and should be recognized. And so it's complicated. Anyway, yeah, please continue to dig in, Gunjan. Let's see what other capabilities all contributors has.
I think this is one of the issues with all contributors. So I think we should go for the community so that who are uh, delivering conferences also get their name listed there.
Yeah, because I gotta say, I was proud of all of us when I saw Ant speaking to Layer 5 and the community. I thought he did a good job of describing the projects, including the Service Mesh performance benchmark, that performance spec. That was great. All right. Greesh, did we have other issues, other things to talk about?
Yeah, we do. Like, so we were just touching on Gungeon. Gungeon, are all your stuff done? Like, I mean, so I did make a note, like, that you're working on these. Is there anything else you're
Yes.
working on, Gungeon?
No, sir.
All right. So towards the end of the call, like, if you want to stay back, we can actually work through the issues you're facing in the Istio repo for your PR, and that'll be great. Also, I just noticed that Anand had actually put up a message in the development meeting minutes that he needs a help with one of the issues. Anand, I'll look at it and probably reach out to you maybe after this call, or maybe if you want to just stay back, we can actually come and talk about your issue.
Yes, sir. I will just stay back.
Awesome. All right. Who's next? Ashish, do you want to talk next? I see you've already updated the meeting minutes. Thanks a lot, Ashish.
Hello, sir.
Hey.
So as of such, I have not done so much work, but one issue to me while fixing that particular, it was yeah. So it was fixing that particular animated the social buttons which was located in the vertical part, which I need to fix it, and it was done properly. So then another issue was assigned to me by Lisa, that was issue number 519.
Right.
That I need to fix, and there I got some issue. So when I was going to build that site locally, actually what was happened that it was showing an error message that your Ruby version is 2.6.5, but your gem file specified is 2.6.3. So I'm not able to locally build my website. So I'm not able to see the changes. So this is my error which I'm getting.
Which project is this, Ashish? Is this the Meshery docs or layer 5? Meshery docs, okay. Cool.
It's a Meshery docs.
Okay, cool. That's a very tiny thing to fix. We should be able to fix that. I'm sorry. I thought you were going to talk about the next topic, but okay. So if you're still on that, I'll give you some pointers, on how to get past that issue. Let's move on to the next one. Yeah.
And so the next one was just replacing that fab icon.ico with the new logo, which I replaced it now, so it is done correctly.
Awesome. So is that the issue number 262?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Fantastic. Cool, Ashish. Hey, thanks a lot. Anything else you want to talk about, Ashish?
No, sir. So we'll be updating on further work which I will doing after that.
Fantastic. Hey, looking forward to it. Awesome.
Sure, sir.
Awesome. Cool, man. All right. Raghav. Hey.
Yeah, hey. So I fixed two issues yesterday. One was in the service network mesh. That was just replacing the layer 5 logo one in readme file. And the other one was in the Meshery docs. I was to change the background color of the footer and the header HTML. So I did that one. Currently, I'm working on the issue number. Issue number 519. So I have to basically make on-over animate of the footer HTML.
Cool.
Yeah.
Raghav, can you actually talk about the previous? I mean, sorry, I missed the one you just mentioned you were working on or you completed working on just before the last one, the issue 519.
Sorry. Sorry, your voice is breaking. Can you repeat again?
Can you restate the issue you worked on before the issue 519? I'm sorry, I was typing the first one, so I kind of missed the middle one.
Basically, I worked on the changing the background color of the footer HTML.
I see.
So in the Meshery docs.
Awesome. Thank you, Raghav. Anything else you want to talk about, Raghav?
Currently, basically, I'm trying to run layer 5 on my local servers. I'm just getting an error. So that's fine, I guess. I'll try to run it again.
Okay. How are you running it? Like, are you running it directly or are you running it inside of a Docker container?
I'm running it directly.
Directly.
So
Okay.
I installed the bundle and the requirements, and when I try to serve it, so it basically shows me error, wrong number of arguments in Jekyll.
Interesting.
And so I'm just taking a look at the Meshery doc and the Ruby versions and things while you guys are chatting.
I gotcha. Ashish, I think if you go inside the gem file and update the version from 263 to 265, I think it might probably solve the problem. Can you give it a try?
Yeah, I'll confirm now that in the gem file, in the latest version of what in at the head of the Meshery repo, in the latest version of the repo, in the gem file,
It's probably in the gem file.log maybe.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I remember seeing it like last week. Oh, right there, the Ruby version there. Yes, exactly.
Okay. So I was thinking they needed to have 265 because I think the law they think is using 265, and so maybe we should. I think probably we should update here to 265, and maybe that would help everyone who's running it. Anyone who's trying to make the site on their machine, then that version of Ruby needs to be consistent. Anyone who does make Docker is a little bit. I don't like it as much because it takes a little while longer and etc. But that's a way of getting around it so that in that Docker environment it will have the appropriate version of Ruby. But the other trick or technique that has been helpful to me is a program called RVM, and is Ruby Version Manager, I think is the name of it. And it will let you do things like fairly quickly switch between Ruby and Ruby. So I execute the command Ruby list. So on my MacBook, Ruby 263 and 265, it's saying currently I'm using my current and default is 263. But what's nice is it lets you quickly do something like this, I believe. It's like, so now if I say RVM list, I have, my default is still 263, but my current one is 265. So if I tried to make the site again, I will probably have an issue. Yeah. And so a couple of things I think that might be helpful to you guys. One, is RVM might be a helpful Ruby environment manager, a helpful tool. And the other one is, yeah, we should probably try to be consistent if we can. The Meshery.io Jekyll instance and the layer5.io instance. So one thing I think we should probably take an issue on is we should probably upgrade the Meshery docs instance to 265. Like we should probably get them all in 265. Any volunteers? Okay. Well, does anyone want to share their screen, and we can maybe work through, or try to help work through the environment issues that you guys have?
Yeah, sure. I can do it.
So Ashish, I'm curious, how did you get started on Manjaro? That's cool.
Are you able to see this?
Yes.
Yep.
So basically, I think I have the Ruby version correct.
You know, actually, what we do see is, are you sharing your terminal? Because we don't see that. We just,
Yeah.
are you on two displays? Because all we see right now is your Firefox, your Chrome.
Okay, one second. I think. Now you can see the terminal, right?
Right. Oh, interesting. So when you run make site, it tells you that there's the wrong number of arguments. That 2 are given, but it only expected 1. And so I guess if you type bundle version, I wonder if you need to be on bundler 2. I don't know.
Actually, I installed Bundler 2 first, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm also running we're running 17.3. So, but that shouldn't be the case. I mean, that bundler. I mean, you didn't happen to update the make file locally, did you?
Sorry?
You didn't have to make changes to the make file.
No.
Okay. Wrong number of arguments. Recipe for targets. let me go try myself. Maybe this is a new issue. So yeah, mine builds. Yeah, your Ruby version. I don't know. I guess, and then your. So I'll just take a look at my Jekyll version. Maybe the other component.
So in my Jekyll version, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe a couple of things to potentially do is like one is like a bundle update, which might take a few minutes. That generally updates most of your gems, including your Jekyll gem. So yeah, so Raghav, I guess I would try that if you do a bundle update.
No, it's still showing the same error.
And then yeah. So maybe what would this be? I expect that's probably happening for the other Jekyll sites as well. Yeah, I wonder if like reinstalling Jekyll is the.
Okay, so should I specify the version which I should install?
Good question. I'm running 3.8.6 as well. I think. Nice.
Still the same error.
If you so I guess if you did a bundle exec Jekyll serve.
No.
See, that's funny because we didn't even pass. Wrong words. See, we didn't even pass any arguments this time. Like if you just do a Jekyll serve, what happens? Oh, you know what? It could be that the config file, config.yaml, we'll go ahead and the Jekyll serve if you would. It could be that maybe there was a recent change in the config.yaml that is causing the configuration of that particular site to be off. It builds for me right now, but I'm in a different branch. If I guess one other thing to kind of troubleshoot is like if you go to Mesh and try to make site there, try to build that Jekyll site, or whether or not it's an issue in your environment or an issue with layer 5 repo. You might need to do a bundle install. No. Nice. Who else said that they were having issues with Ashish? I think you said you're having issues with building Meshery docs. And of that issue, do you recollect, Ashish, maybe you could paste the error code or the error message? Oh, I see. Yeah, very good. So Ashish, I think a couple of ways to work through that. The one that you don't have to, the one that I would probably try is to install RVM and use. Well, I mean, there's a couple of things actually. I would install RVM because it's a great tool anyway. But outside of that, we should also create an issue in Meshery, the Meshery repo, to upgrade Jekyll. I'm sorry, to upgrade the Ruby version to 2.6.5, so that all of our sites are on 2.6.5. Because the Meshery docs site is 6.3 right now. Okay, so Raghav, it looks like it's not an issue necessarily on your system. So if we go back to the layer 5 site, now you're in a branch here, I think, or no? What's your, if you do a git status? And so, okay. I think that the gem file lock changes, would those have been done because we just upgraded bundle? Do you guys know what the quick command is to look at the differences, what's been modified in that file? Unless it's a git diff.
Yeah, you just have to do a diff.
So, Raghav, if you did git diff, let's see what. And diff. Okay, and so all of these changes are probably coming through based on just having run like a bundle update and things like this. So, Garish, maybe unless you have a better suggestion, Raghav, if you don't have any changes yet that you've made, or if you do, if you can quickly save those off, blow away your clone, your local clone, and re-clone your fork to your machine, and try making this site from there, because the site builds for me now. Is anyone else able to build the layer 5 site now? Because I'm building it in a branch.
Yes, I can.
Okay. And Gunjan, when you do, you're doing it on master with the latest. Shubham, I know you need to run. So good. So yeah. Okay. Thanks, Shubham. See you soon.
See you on Friday.
Okay. Very good.
Bye.
So Raghav, I don't know if you want to try that. If you want to, Girish, does that make sense? Do we have something else we want to try?
No, I think what he just suggested like is pretty decent. Yeah. Sometimes that definitely helps.
So Raghav, assuming you don't have any changes you need to save off. All right. And Raghav, I assume you're probably doing that right now. So, does anybody have anything else?
There
including the report again.
Cool. There are two things. One is that Anand wanted to talk about one of his issues, and Gunjan has an issue when he created his PR with Istio repo. So these are the two things.
Oh wow. Okay. Wow. Nice. Gunjan, did you say that you already created the?
Yes, sir. I have already pushed the commit, pushed the PR, but there are certain failure, like there is a link failure, there is a sign up error. So I'm facing those two errors.
Okay.
Do you want to?
You're facing. I'm sorry. I thought you said you're pasting those two issues. You're facing those two issues. Okay. So yeah. So the issue is that what we wanted to do is, given that Layer 5 is a partner of Istio, that on the Istio site they have a list of logos of partners.
Yeah.
It would be great if you could Layer 5 one. I think it's hysterical that the Solo IO one is broken. But
sir, one more thing. Hello. Yeah, sir. I tried to run make set command on that repo, but I got some error. Can I use the make site for this repo also?
They use almost everything is different. So there's a big difference. It's kind of confusing because there's a big difference between committing to Istio in Go code and Istio just on the on their doc site. And so most of this is talking about contributing to Istio directly. Performance, right, go.
Lee, you should actually see Gunjan's PR. He did create a PR.
Huh.
Gunjan, do you want to share your screen?
Yes, sir. This is the display here. So here is this two failure.
Small. It's relatively straightforward. And you know how in our project we require that you sign your commits?
Yes, sir. In this pair I also use the sign of command, but we got this here.
Right. So they use a slightly different process, and it requires a one-time setup. If you click on the required button, are you able to click on the required button?
Sir, for this I'm not able to.
Yeah.
But for this one I can give the details.
So on the first issue is relatively straightforward. I'll send you a link where you can. What they want you to do is sign their license agreement. Basically, say, "Hey, I'm in the contribute and things that I contribute to this project can be used broadly." It's the license agreement. So that one I'll send you a link to. The first one. The second one, click on details if you would. Did it take you right to where we just were? Yeah, it did.
Yes.
The thing is like this probably, if you go and show me the changes that you made, because it's not likely that it's your issue per se.
Sir, in this changes I made one mistake that was not arranged all those things alphabetically. I just put our this section randomly at the first. I think I got the link issue. I don't sure about this, but
Okay, yeah. I wonder if I can help you on this one, on the same pull request. So a couple of things. On the first issue, if you go back a page, the link to sign their CLA is right there. Actually, if you go right there, that's the link. And so they'll ask you to sign in on yourself, only yourself. And then it'll probably have you sign into your Google account or not. Okay, that's fine. If you click I agree, and actually since it's been signed, okay, I think you're good to go. Now you've signed it. The thing is that bot, it hasn't rechecked just yet, so that's why it's still a red X. And
yes,
it won't recheck until we bump, until you say, see what it says like /OK to test. Anyway, so you're good to go on the CLA. That'll be figured out. There's a couple of other small issues. If you go back to the files that you've changed on the PR,
Yes, sir.
so in most respects, you were intending, I think, only to change one file, and for whatever reason, there was a second file that the change got picked up.
Yes, sir.
This may be one of those times where you'll want to your fork.
Yes, I did the changes after forking forking the repo.
And then if we stop and look at what Eric says, he says, okay, you need to sign the CLA, great. You got some lint issues to fix.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yep, no, that's okay. Yeah, if we go back to what he said for a moment.
Yeah.
I think you also need to rebase your branch latest. So yeah, because the lint issues are not yours; those are some other contributor's issues. Because of the code, the changes you've made, they're fine. It's that you accidentally picked up someone else's. In the time that you forked the Istio repo and made your changes and submitted the PR, you're behind. So you need to do the git, update your fork, merge the latest changes from master in your fork into your branch. So you need to go do that whole process that we're familiar with already.
Yes, sir.
The lint issue and the CLA issue will go away as soon as they retest.
Sir, here is the
Yeah, it's great.
chief. This guy already approved my changes 3 days ago, but after that, I don't know what happened.
Yeah. So, and by the way, this is it's nice to see you taking on this issue because it's not easy to contribute to Istio per se, or it's not as easy as it is to contribute to projects you're doing here. You go at the very top, it lists out your branch. It's Dungeon Nemo, layer 5. You click there. If I think maybe I'll jump in and help for a moment, only because it's going to get even worse. You can ask Garish, the longer that your PR hangs out, the more complicated it'll get over time. And so if you can, in this fork, if you go to settings and under collaborators, if you give my user permission to give my user write permission to your fork, I can
set in this section.
Yep, that's right. What I do, but yeah, I'm just going to do a git. I'm just going to sync your fork with the latest changes from Istio. Merge those, and that should auto update the PR that you created, which should then get rid of the lint issues, which should also cause your PR, the bots on your PR, to retest things. If they don't, I will kick it. I will make a comment on the PR that says, it'll be something like this, /OK to test. They have a bot that looks for that command and it retests, so you don't have to fix the link issues.
Okay. And what about the CLA issue? Should I do something further for that particular issue? That CLA issue?
You did already fit. It's just not reflected on the pull request yet. Not until we do an update to the pull request.
Okay, sir.
I think you're actually good to go. I don't know. I hope you won't have to make any more changes. I'm gonna sync, your port, and then actually while I'm doing it, I'm just gonna update part of the text that you've got in there. You did the right thing by putting i5, by putting a description of Meshery, and I think there's a link to the logo as well.
Yeah.
I'm just going to update the description a little bit and make sure that whatever link you're using to the Layer 5 logo, that we make sure that that is in a permanent place that won't go away, so we don't end up in a similar situation like the broken image. So, but that's it. So this is great. This is exactly what I was looking for. I expected that whoever picked it up might run into some issues. You have. I think there's a couple of learnings for you. One is just there's such a thing as CLAs, as a contributor's license agreement. We don't use a CLA, we use a DCO, the developer's certificate of origin. Two different things. And then also through this process, you'll get another. You'll have your user will have contributed to Istio. Your user will have been on there. So this is a good one. So I'll jump in and help. I think that's all that we need.
Okay, sir.
And then very good. And then Ashish and Raghav. I think Raghav, were you successful?
Yeah, that's it. Successful person. So I did the bundle install and I'm having this error. Are you able to see this?
Yeah.
So should I bundle up? Should I bundle update?
Yep. Or maybe just bundle update that particular gem. And I think I ran into this issue not too long ago too with that gem. But yeah, I think this will take care of it. And unless you have to do, okay, so.
So not this?
Yeah, maybe you should do the bundle update -- full index, I guess. I guess you're gonna run into a few issues with. So this might take a little bit. While we're waiting, Ashish, did you say there's something missing on the Meshery website that's on the .io website below the run Meshery frame?
Yes, sir. Something is missing there, sir.
Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, no, very good. You're totally right. Can you create a quick issue, and actually, in this case, assign it to me, and I'll fix it real quick. Or I can point out where it's broken. It's broken inside of the community.html under include. And if you create a quick issue, which is there's kind of a what do you call it? A recursive. We've got a recursive issue happening here.
And sir, it's also while refreshing the page, something different color is approaching. So if you refresh the page, it will also got. So while refreshing the Meshery.io page,
Yeah. I'm looking now. Just the main
seems quite different while refreshing the page.
Interesting. Okay. It may be that I don't see it on mine because it's updating so quickly, and so that issue I don't see. But what color do you see while it's doing that?
And looks kind of purple color.
And then it eventually goes away.
Yeah, yes, sir. So quite similar to the logo which Slack contains, that purplish color.
Right. Right. I think I know what you're talking about. I think I've seen. Yeah, I think the overall, like the body tag, I think overall it carries something of a purple background, and if the page isn't loading quick enough, you may see that initial color of the background of the body. Mine is loading so fast that I don't see it. So it sounds like one of those things that, yeah, it's a bit distracting, disturbing. It would be nice if you can. It's an investigation that needs to be done into. I would go check out the body tag and see if there's any CSS or SAS that's coloring the background of the body. Nice, thank you, Ashish. Yeah, thanks for calling it out. Okay, good. And so I think we're back to you, Raghav.
Yeah, it's taking a while. My internet connection is slow.
Oh, sure. It makes you feel any better. Usually bundle update takes a while for me as well.
Hi, sir. Actually, I want to point one issue in the Meshery.io page. In the bottom, there is a community member section, and there is okay. Let me present my screen.
No, totally. Yeah, sorry. Actually, thanks for pointing it out. And actually, Ashish just got done pointing out that very same thing. You guys are totally right. There's an issue of recursion. So if you, and you see how it says index.html, index.html, I think if you zoomed out in your browser, if you try zooming out, and out, and out, and out, okay, no. Okay, try zooming in. Anyway, I was wondering if you would see like a third or a fourth index. The thing is, if you have the code up, mesh. Okay. Yeah, if you bring the code up for Meshery.io, I made a recent change to the community.html page inside the includes folder, where basically there's an include that includes another include. And so I'll try to bring it up real quick and show you guys what I mean. The fix is relatively simple. It is not as simple as just deleting that include. I'm going to show you while Raghav's stuff is updating. So recently I was trying to enhance the slash community page. And I think I did. I think now every individual contributor has their own page that we will hopefully use. I created the issue that you guys are seeing now. So here's the Meshery.io site. Under includes, there's community.html. This community.html includes contributor.html. Okay, so community HTML includes contributor HTML. So when we look at contributor HTML, go down. Okay, so it doesn't include anything else. However, when you go to the index page, the main page, and go down, it's doing this. The main page is including community HTML, which pulls up community HTML, and then community HTML includes itself, which then includes itself, which then there. It's like, so we have this issue of recursion. So ultimately, we can't do that. We can't have it calling itself, calling itself, calling itself. Or I'm sorry, you know what? It's I actually got confused. It's not calling itself; it's calling contributor. Anyway, the point is like it's too many includes in a row, and they're not lined up well, and so that's what's causing the issue. And so yeah, if one of you guys would just go ahead and file the issue on Meshery.io, and if you want to try to take it on, please do. If not, I'll feel free to assign it to me, and I'll go correct my mistake. That was a bug I introduced. So nice. Okay. Up here, Raghav still running updates.
Actually, yeah, it's still running updates. No worries. We can call it off.
Okay.
I'll try. Yeah.
Well, don't hesitate to ping in Slack or what have you if we can, or we can jump on another.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think I recently ran into some similar snafus. I recently had to blow away the repo and kind of start again.
Oh, good.
Nice. Okay. You guys have anything else, or we're gonna call it a day? Oh, okay. Go ahead, Anand. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, you've been waiting forever, I think. And it was your question was probably, I think, was on Meshery CTO.
Hello, sir.
Hey.
Yeah, actually, I'm sharing my screen. So last day I was trying to was a screen visible.
So, yeah, it looks like it was just.
So my update is done. So it's still in the same error, I think.
Oh, is it? Okay. Okay. I'll hold that thought for 1 second. Rather than yeah. I'll go. Oh, okay. Yeah. So nice. So Anand, that's a great question. It's both a question, Anand, of so Anand, great question. It's both a question of technically how do you do it, and it's also a question of is it appropriate to do it, and the appropriate answer. And we need to write down some guidelines around. It's also one of those things that I think it's going to require some elevated privileges on GitHub to do. And so, you know how I've talked about like the contributor ladder and, being able to what those roles mean and what permissions and what responsibilities come with those roles. The ability to perform a release and to be trusted to understand when it's appropriate, when it's not, and to execute the procedure is something that we haven't written down. But it may be but it might be for you for some others to be able to do that. Let me take that as an action item because I need to go look at GitHub's permission scheme and understand what all permissions you need to have. And then we also need to make sure that our release documentation is fairly thorough, but it's yet to be written to give guidelines around it does have guidelines around what constitutes a minor release, a major release, a bug fix release. And even though the guidelines are there, I think it can be left up to someone's interpretation as to what's appropriate. And so anyway, point is, let me take that as an action item and let Rish and I come back to you. Oh, okay. So I see. So if you're trying on the Meshery temp repo, then we shouldn't. Then I think the answer is easier. That's a great place to practice and try. That I think we can quickly get you the right permissions on that repo. Perform a release so long as the ci.yaml points to itself. Doesn't point to the Meshery repo itself, but points to the Meshery-temp repo. So cool. So Girish, do you have that one? You're gonna go get Anand the right permissions. Anand, you'll yeah, okay. Okay, so a couple of things. I guess Raghav, if we don't get all the way through your issue, control is to make Docker to build the site. Ideal, but it's not too bad either. So, Anand, I think to enable you on Meshery-temp, that makes a lot of sense. It helps you test out your fixes and things that can sometimes only be done by cutting a release. And so within this repo, let me show you the steps to initiating a release, and then we'll make sure you have the right permissions to do so. So the steps involve two concepts in GitHub. One is the concept of a release. The other is the concept of a tag. And releases are done in terms of, in relationship to a tag. We have, you want to call it, and we have a naming convention for those tags, and it's here you guys are using v1. You guys are using this convention. In Meshery itself, it's specific. It looks similar, but it actually is Meshery and then the version number. So literally this piece of text is the tag. We look at the tags here. Okay. Okay, never mind. I'm telling you wrong. This is the release name. I'm sorry, and the tag is just the version number. And it has to follow a particular format. So back on the temp repo, the process would be you go to releases, go to tags. When you release drafties, what tag number do you want to give it? Well, it's 1.0.1. What branch are we targeting? Master. Hey, this is the v1.0.1 release. Is the name of it. We fixed Meshery CTL such and such. Blah blah blah. We have the release notes, right? You can say, hey, this is just a pre-release, and they'll kind of mark it as, I think they'll give it a -RC for like a release candidate or something. Anyway, when you can either save the draft and come back and add notes later, or if you publish the release, the effect that has is it creates a new release. It assigns the latest release tag. GitHub automatically does this, right? It assigns the latest release tag, it grabs the of head of master, the latest commit on master, and GitHub immediately just zips up the source code in the repo, just zips up the entire repo, makes it available as a .zip and as a tar. In the background, what's happening is that because we have workflow defined in .github workflows CI, if this workflow matches, if this workflow gets invoked, then it will begin executing, and you can see it under actions. It's currently executing based on the fact that I created a new merge. I did a new push of that tag, that release. So that triggered it. It's running. We can go back and look at the fact that it's more much. I think you can go. I don't know that we get much more details while it's going. 16 seconds. So I'll refresh my page. Yeah, it started 2 minutes ago. Anyway, point is, assuming it executes successfully when it's done, what we should see is, we're already seeing the fact that we moved from 3 to 4 releases, but right now this release only has zipped up contents of the repo. Given the steps that we have inside of our workflow, inside of our ci.yaml, part of those steps invoke go releaser. Go releaser builds some things like Meshery CTL specifically, and it comes using cat updates the contents of that release with all the assets up here. So I think you knew a bit of that already, but rather just the part about starting the new release, giving it the version number, publishing, that invokes the workflow. So I think the last step is to get you access to be able to to push a new release. So you're asking, so after some time, will it upload all the binary files that are created by CI? Yes. Go releaser does that. It will, and it might even have done it. So one, I think the build failed because I just got and so over here, the bit of the workflow that got invoked was the go releaser section, and because we have a tag v1 1.0.1, it invoked that branch of the workflow and invoked this whole set of commands, and as it was executing, it hit this Docker run failed with exit code 1. And so I don't know if there were changes done here recently or so Meshery itself built, like, that step of the workflow worked. This step of the workflow I think was just to identify the fact that there's a version number there. And initiate the whole process by which we would push the binaries back. So because this failed, the binaries weren't pushed. Run Docker go releaser. So Girish, do you know why it's failing? Or Anand, do you know if you made any recent changes as to why it would fail? Okay. Hey, Girish, did you come back yet? Okay. So yeah, so since I'm Grisha, are you talking? Or is he not there? Okay, so Anand, yeah, you may want to follow up with him just because I haven't been focused on that. I don't know what you guys are working on there, but I'll make sure that you've got the right access to be able to create new releases. And Anand, the other thing that you'll be able to do is like if once you fix whatever issue is causing the build to break, you don't necessarily have to go push a new release. You don't have to create a new release every time you want to try it. You can just come back to actions, and if you think you fixed it, you can just say, well, you should be able to re-invoke the job. So what you would do is you go to that particular build, that particular action, or you that'll just it'll rerun the workflow. Agrees, are you back? Do you know why this is happening?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I missed the part. Like I just got back. What is the problem?
So we're going to enable Anand to be able to create new releases just on this temp repo.
Right.
And we're just showing him the quick process. You go to releases, you draft a new release, you got to give it a version number, a tag. Then the workflow itself identifies the fact that there is a tag, and so it goes about Go releaser specifically builds Meshery CTL, and when it's done, it will push those artifacts to the release. As it's listed here, it will push those assets under here.
Correct.
Just like, and then we did a release, and as part of that workflow failed.
Oh, okay.
In built. But the bit about building Meshery CTL, I think it probably built Meshery CTL, I think, but the error is, Docker run failed with exit code 1, and so I'm just not familiar with if there were changes done recently or what's going on here, or if this dash temp repo just needs to be updated, from the main repo or what.
Gotcha. I'll take a look at it and probably get back with Anand. I don't think any of those are needed. Sometimes I've seen the jobs fail for random reasons, so re-triggering them sometimes helps. But did you guys already try re-triggering it?
No.
Okay, so maybe that's a first good thing to try. If that doesn't work, then the point is, anyways, I'll actually take a look at it, and maybe help him with the right steps. I think that'll be the best thing to do.
It's the same thing that I was just saying a second ago, which is you don't always have to cut a new release to fix an issue. That you can come in here and basically kick it off again, rerun it. And so, and Garisha's right, we've certainly seen GitHub Actions just fail with random issues. And so maybe there's actually nothing wrong, maybe it just randomly failed. So I'm kicking it off again. We'll let that test go. In the meantime, I'll make sure that you've got the right permission to be able to cut a release. Anand, when you're in that temp repo now, or do you see the releases hyperlink? Are you able to do the news? If so, then I think you've got all the permission that you need already. Okay, cool. Anand, you're good to go. All right.
Awesome, guys. It's fantastic.
So. Wow, this has been a marathon of a meeting. So, just watching to see if that action failed. It's still running. Raghav, are you still there? Were you able to do like a make Docker?
I think Raghav is not here on the call.
Oh, okay. I think he was comfortable with. Okay, so well, if that fails, Garish will take a look and.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll take a look at it.
Cool.
I mean, we don't have to be here on the call for that. You know, I can work with Anand asynchronously.
Nice. All right. Good. Guys. I'm glad. I'm excited that you guys have break from school.
Yes, I mean that was the first question I asked when the call started. So all their exams are done. You know, so they're all like enjoying their free time. So
nice. When do you? Okay. So that's very good. So I was saying earlier on the call that Bill DeGillery has been getting a few things ready to send you guys. I know I mentioned it a while ago. And so probably I think she'll be addressing it to your school address. And so and to one of you. And so yeah, so it'll take a while. It will take a while, so but it'll be a post Merry Christmas, I guess. It'll be a late Diwali.
Actually, it will be early Diwali and late Christmas, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay, very good, guys. I gotta jump off. I'll see you guys on Slack.
see you guys. Yeah, this was a great call.
Bye.
Yeah, see you guys. Yeah, bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.